Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. It's your bro, Richie Rich here. Tonight in this video is now an extended video of the previous Chrysler HEMI motor video, and today is just gonna be a quick video. I'm only gonna do like a few, cause I gotta wake up early tomorrow. I'm gonna be busy. So I'm not gonna have time to do as much as I can, but I'll do a few. So today I'm still sticking on the Chrysler HEMI motors. So I'm still in the Gen 1. I've done a few. So now I'll do a few more and then I'll head to sleep. So before I start, make sure you guys all like the video, subscribe, comment, comment down below what you guys think. Hit that notification bell and hit all so you know when we bring uploads. Alright, so without further ado, let's begin. So the next one I'm on is the 331. So the first firepower motor used from the year 51 to 55 has a bore of 3.8125 inches and a stroke of 3.625 inches. For a piston displacement of 5.4 liters, 331 cubic inches, and a deck height of 10.385 inches, which was known as low deck, The bore spacing shared by all Chrysler firepower motors was 4.5625 inches, the largest of any Gen 1 HEMI motors. Most used a 2-barrel carburetor and produced 180 horsepower, with the exception of the 55 Chrysler C300, equipped with dual Carter WCFB 4-barrel carburetors and rated at 300 horsepower. The 331s used in the following applications: the 51 and 55 Chrysler New Yorker, 51-54 Chrysler Imperial, and 55 Imperial as well. 51 Chrysler Saratoga, 52 Saratoga Club Coupe, 52 Chrysler Imperial Parade Phaeton, 54 Dodge C Series, 55 Chrysler C300, 56 Face Hill, I can't pronounce it, but it's spelled, it's the word face, but with an L at the end, and Vega, like saying Vegas, but take out the letter S and you get Vega. FV2B, 58 Honki, which is a Chinese car company, C872. It's spelled HONGQI, so CA72. And the last one's not really a car, but it's the Chrysler air raid siren at 138 decibels. At 138 decibels, it's reputed to be the loudest siren ever made. Next is the 354. The 354, released in 1956, had a bore of 3.9375 inches and a stroke of 3.625 inches, and the same 10.385 inch low deck height for a displacement of 5.7 liters. The 300B motors rated at 340 horsepower. Same as a Mark V Supra 6-cylinder. While the New Yorker and Imperial, while both the New Yorker and Imperial 354 motor configuration produced 280 horsepower. The same as an R32, 3, and 4 GTRs, Skylines, but those are the gentleman agreements types. Gentleman agreement type configurations, 280 horsepower. 280 horsepower. For the 300B, an optional 355 horsepower versions available, making it the first American V8 to be rated at 1 horsepower per cubic inch. Know that before 1972, horsepower was an SAE gross, equivalent to maximum output. Thereafter, it's rated as SAE net, which was power delivered to the gearbox. Less accessories, emission controls, exhaust system, and other power sinks as well. The 354 is also modified. The HEMI is optimized for heavy duty truck service. These are available with either 1 or 2 4-barrel carburetors. So 4-barrel carburetors, and are offered in Dodge's heaviest duty models as the Power Giant V8 from 1957 through 1959, almost to the 1960s. There are the largest of 4 HEMI trucks, of 4 HEMI truck motors offered by Dodge in the 50s. The 354 is also offered. The 354 is also offered in certain models with polyspheric headers rather than the usual HEMI headers. The combustion chambers on these had similarities in both HEMI and wedge motors. HEMI and wedge headers, sorry, but were close in weight to wedge headers. So wedge headers. Thus, both the 354 polyspheric and 354 HEMI V8s were variously available in 1957. The 354 was used in the following applications: the 56 Chrysler New Yorker, Chrysler 300, Chrysler 300B, and Imperial Custom and Crown. Then we got the 57 Dodge D501 and 5759 Dodge 5759 Dodge C Series pickup pickup truck. Next is the 392. The 392 raised deck motor released in in 1957. In 1957, it had a 4-inch bore and 3.906 stroke. The actual displacement is 6.4 liters. Um, I'll just whisper. I'll just whisper. The deck height. The deck height at the deck height at 10.87 inches. So 10.87 inches was half inch, so 0.5, so half inch taller than that of the previous motor blocks because its deck was taller. The heads were cast with wider intake ports. So with intake ports that were wider, so that either manifolds could be used with the new headers on the new taller motor block. For 1958, Chrysler offered a 392 in two configurations. 325 horsepower with 9.25 to 1 compression, and 345 horsepower with 10 to 1 compression ratio. both with a single 4-barrel carburetor, a dual 4-barrel version of the 392 available in the 50 available so a dual 4-barrel version of the 392 available available in the 58 Chrysler 300Z and 300D cars were rated at 375 horsepower. Pretty good. The 300D and submarine and industrial motors used a now rare adjustable rocker, an extremely rare option available on the 58 300D was Bendix electrojector fuel injection, which was with which the 392 is rated at 390 horsepower. Getting close to 400 horsepower is pretty good. Due to reliability issues, Chrysler, New Yorker. From the same year, the Imperial Custom, Crown, and LeBaron, and the 57 Chrysler 300Z, 58 Chrysler 300D, and from the same year, the Faisal Vega Excellence, so Vega Excellence EX in the late 50s and early 60s. Drag racers found the 392. Drag racers found the 392 to be a formidable motor and continued to run them competitively. In the 70s. Usual color of the block was silver. Next is DeSoto. So there's not much on there. DeSoto HEMI motors were called Fire Dome, and served as the naming convention for the DeSoto Fire Dome sedan. Said DeSoto Fire Dome sedan. Next is the 276. In 1952, DeSoto introduced its version of the firepower called Fire Dome with a bore of 3.625 inches and stroke of 3.344 inches for displacement of 4.5 liters. The bore spacing shared by all DeSoto firepower motors was a 4.3125 inch. So it was 4.3125 inches. Power output was 160 horsepower. It was a hot seller with 50,000 using the motor until it was replaced in 1954. So 50,000 cars used the type of engine until in 1954 it was replaced with a new different motor. Speaking of which, we got the next one, which is the 341. Displacement was increased again for the year 56 for the DeSoto Adventurer only, and in 1957 both Fire Dome and Firefleet or Fireflight, I can't pronounce, can't really say it well, but it's the word fire. And then F, so it's fire and then FLITE. Fireflight. I can't really say it correctly. Models. So models to 5.6 liters. Bore was increased to 3.78 inches, but the stroke remained at 3.8 inches only, so it stayed the same. The DeSoto Adventurer had a compression ratio of 9.5 to 1, using a special camshaft profile for hydraulic lifters, and produced 320 horsepower using dual Carter WCFB 4-barrel carburetors. The 56 Adventurer is the premier named high performance version. The DeSoto equivalent of the twin 4-barrel Chrysler 300. Next is the liters with square bore and stroke. Dimensions of 3.8 inches. The DeSoto Adventurer used dual Carter WCFB 4-barrel carburetors for a rating of 345 horsepower, which is pretty good, producing 1 horsepower per cubic inch. The first American car to do so with standard equipment, using a similar intake manifold to the 56 341 Adventurer, and a similar camshaft. Compression ratio still remain the same, 9.5 to 1. Next is Dodge. Dodge's HEMIs, introduced in 1953 as 1953 as the Red Ram. Dodge didn't have a V8 until once developed specifically for the line in 19 specific one until once developed specifically for the line in 19 specifically for the line in 1953, based on the 51 Chrysler HEMI design. But downsized for these smaller cars. Smaller cars. They have the smallest bore center spacing of any HEMI motor at 4.1875 inches. They don't share any major dimensions or components with the larger both Chrysler and DeSoto HEMI motors, or the Plymouth A motors for all Plymouth A series motors for 1955 to 58. HEMI based alternatives to the Dodge HEMI were introduced by substituting less complex poly single rocker shaft heads and valve train parts, including one variant only built as a poly to 59-inch to 59-inch. These were used in low-line 1955-58 DeSotos and Dodges, and 1955-56 Highline Plymouths. So Highline Plymouths. Dodge trucks marketed their version of the HEMI under the name Power Dome. Alright, getting close to the end of this version. So next is 241. Dodge introduced the 4-liter 241 motor in 1953. Bore was 3.3. Alright, you know what? So the next one is the 241, but I'm gonna save that for another time. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you learn to make pretty uploads. Alright, gotta go. I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, stay safe, have a great evening, and have a great day tomorrow morning, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'll see you guys soon in the next video. So take care, folks. Stay safe out there.